Ladies and gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind sticking around with us for our next in our seminar series, I'd like to make a brief introduction here, if you will. If you would, please welcome Linda Quirk. Linda just completed a marathon on each of the 7 continents in under a year to raise money for charity. Next year, she's going to be attempting to be the first woman to run the most daunting, excuse me, next year she'll be the first to attempt to run the 4 deserts, a series of 155-mile foot races in some of the world's most daunting terrain. Again, all in under a year. It is my pleasure to introduce BP Team Invigorate athlete and adventure runner, Linda Quirk. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Well, I'm Linda Quirk, and I am the creator of the Run7on7.com initiative. And first, let me tell you that I am not an elite runner, despite having run many triathlons, including the Ironman Kona Championships, and over 20 marathons. But rather, I'm a mother, a wife, and a grandmother who really just simply had an idea. In April of 2008, I set out to run 7 marathons, 1 on each of the 7 continents in under a year for charity. I did this in the hopes of sparking a national dialogue about drug and alcohol addiction and recovery, and to raise much needed funds for the care and treatment centers where my stepdaughter Catherine received the innovative treatment that she needed for her crippling drug addiction. Specifically, my goal was to help raise $1 million for Karen's scholarship program that assists families in need so they can get the care that they deserve. My journey took me across some of the most beautiful and challenging terrain a marathon runner could race. I began at the premier Boston Marathon in April of 2008, then went on to run the Great China Wall in May, Easter Island the beginning of June, the Safaricom Marathon in Kenya, Africa the end of June, Iceland in August, Melbourne, Australia in October, and concluded my adventure along the icy tundra of Antarctica in March of 2009. 11 amazing months, and this idea, this dream, had become a reality that has included a successful donation total of over $330,000 to date, a partnership with BP to highlight BP gasoline with Invigorate, and the BP Younger for Longer Challenge. My message has been heard by millions through national and local media, and of course, the thousands of donations and support from people all over the world. It's been quite a whirlwind, to say the least, and one that has seen its fair share of challenges, but more importantly, big wins and even bigger dreams come true. Today, I would like to give you just some of the tips that help carry me through each and every marathon, and hopefully they'll encourage you to see the world on foot, to challenge yourself beyond your limits, and if possible, to use your love of running to give back. So, how does one actually go about taking on such a challenge, especially at the age that I was, of 55 at the time? 1 marathon a year is daunting, but to take on 7 back-to-back, you actually needed, I felt, a team of qualified experts to help me cross the finish line. I felt very lucky to have each of the folks that I'm going to name on my team, and leaned upon them actually for support and guidance. Actually, how did I come to work with so many of these professionals in their respective fields? First, I began making plans for my mission. I did extensive research to find the right professionals to help me achieve my goals. And from there, I simply reached out to each and every one of them, told them about myself and my mission, and surprisingly, they all said yes to working with me. And after completing the 7 marathons on each continent, we are all continuing to work together towards a new goal. You can tell I'm not used to doing this. My running coach is Keith Brantley, who was the 1996 Olympian in the marathon. He was my running coach prior to taking on this endeavor and still continues to coach me today. I also have Jill Gass, who is a Cat 2 master cyclist and a Ram finisher who serves as my bike and cross-training coach. Bob Seebahar, who is a sports dietitian for the 2008 Triathlon Olympic team, is my nutritional coach. And I also have Jeff Frank, a former trainer to professional golfer Vijay Singh, and also former NFL and AFL trainer who serves as my weight trainer. For those of you who want a coach, ask around town, ask other runners, running shop owners, and eventually you'll find the expert that best suits you. Each coach was able to add their knowledge and creativity to my regimen, which eventually led to a total lifestyle change. Everything from how I ate, how I slept, and of course, how I worked out. Based on this, a typical training week for me might look something like this. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I would usually run and cross-train. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would run and also hit the weight rooms. Saturdays typically would be a rest day, and Sunday would be my long run and recovery swim, either a swim or a spin. And all of this would be dictated of where I was in my periodization. So as you can tell, training became my job. At least that's the way I approached it. I became a master at juggling and being creative in figuring out how to fit it all in to an already busy life with my husband, children, grandchildren, travel, and many other commitments.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
The majority of my training begins and finishes in the first 2 to 3 hours in the morning. However, at times I would switch that up and do some in the morning, some in the evening, just to manage to fit them into the day. While traveling, I would always locate where my run could safely be done, choosing hotels based on whether they had an adequate gym, and bringing my handy blender to prepare morning shakes. What I realized along the way is that I needed to trick my body into believing there was actually more than 24 hours in a day. Out of the 24 hours, I needed to sleep at least 9, which left me with 15 literally to play with. I truly became a grandma and was in bed by 9 p.m. every night. Not that this has to be everyone's bedtime, but I love to begin and finish my workouts in the morning, so getting up early appealed to me more than going to bed late. Rest is one of the key elements, I believe, that truly kept me going on the race course and also in my life. One of the many things I've learned from Keith, my running coach, is to take rest seriously, which he implements into my schedule. What many new marathoners and us seasoned ones as well neglect to understand fully is that rest is training. As a type A personality when not running, I used to believe that I was going to lose whatever I had gained. But Keith helped me to see that this eventually and actually was contrary to what really happens. Our muscles and bodies need time to repair so that we can continue injury-free. So be sure to incorporate and adhere to rest days in your training. A second bit of advice is don't be afraid to add weight training into your routine. Our bodies and bones need to be strong to carry us through those long 26.2 marathon miles. I incorporated a full body workout twice a week and worked extensively on strengthening my core and back muscles. As an older athlete, I believe that my time in the gym was as much an integral part of my ability to complete the 7 marathons as my time spent running. I also learned the importance of cross-training. Coming from a triathlon background, biking and swimming are a natural fit for me. Jill, my bike and cross-training coach, would write my workouts for my stationary bike using the CompuTrainer for days when I ran out of time to go outside or when the weather was not conducive to biking, which in Florida happens a lot during the summertime hours.